Hi there, my name is Ulrich, aka Day Music or the Paw Inspector, whatever you want to call me, and welcome back to a quick video regarding ZGameEditor Visualizer that I'm making because someone pointed out something to me in the comments of my tutorial series, and it's more so in relation to a plugin that I've never really looked at. So what we're going to do is I have this project here that I was working on, or I was demonstrating in my tutorial series when I was talking about the lyrics and on-screen text and all that stuff. And I'm going to just load in, let me pull up the mixer track here. I'm going to load in a ZGameEditor Visualizer on the master track, of course, and I'm going to put that away. And let me get this set up real quick. All right, so here we have my ZGameEditor Visualizer. This is the tutorial series preset that I had that I was using for that that series. And I have a different background because I didn't like that background that I was using. After editing those videos, I realized that it was very hard to see anything in that with that background. So I have a different background, which may or may not be from Fortnite, but that's beside the case. What we're going to do is we're going to actually load in a plugin. Actually, let me pull up the mixer track again. I'm going to load in a plugin called, as the title suggests, Fruity Peak Controller. I'm going to load it in on the kick of this song here under the controller category. You guys can't see the pop-up menus that are popping up, but it's fine. You can see when I load in the effects. So there you go, Fruity Peak Controller. And here it is. Very simple effects. Like, I feel like I've looked at it before and I never realized like what it does. So I just never really tried to mess with it at all. And what it does is actually pretty powerful. It doesn't do anything on its own. So if you've ever loaded this and realized it didn't do anything, it's because, as one might assume, the fact that it says controller makes it an internal controller. So if I go to the background here, right click scale, go to link to controller, and then in the internal controllers, there it is, Fruity Peak Controller. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to set, you see there's two options, or three options here. There's LFO, peak, and then peak and LFO. We're just going to set it to the peak effects right now. And as soon as I press play, you'll see it take effect. Whenever I go to the kick drum, you'll see it take effect. Where's the kick drum at? There you go. A bit superfluous if you ask me, but we can fix that easily. We go to the bass slider right here, type in value, and you can actually type in the specific value that you want. You can also change it back to the float value if you want, but I like the fact that you can set it to % because that's much easier to read. So set it to 50%, starts in the center of the scale where the HUD image starts. And I'm going to lower the volume as well. This knob says volume, but if you look in the top left there, it actually says peak amount. So we're going to change the peak amount. And there you go. A much more subdued audio shake effect. If you ask me, this is a bit rigid though. So what we can actually do is we can actually change the tension of the motion that it's doing. Lower that to a much smoother effect. Kind of like a sidechain effect, actually. Kind of like a sidechain ramp. It's a bit better, but we can actually decrease the decay as well. There we go, look how smooth that is. And I don't know, I just like that effect more than the audio shakes, the audio shake and the Julian audio shake effects that ZGameEditor has, just because of that amount of control there. I don't know if it has like the, I don't remember if those have the decay type of parameter. I know it has obviously the, no, it doesn't even have the, I don't think they have the bass. No, let me pull them up real quick. See, all it has is the amount, or all the audio shake one has the amount. You can also have the alpha transparent for if you have it in a buffer layer. This is the legacy mode. Then normal mode has a speed parameter, which I think might be the decay. Let me check real quick. Could I set that to kick as well? No, this is, I think, the tension slider. That's the tension slider. And then the frequency range gives you the minimum and maximum options. So that's the audio shake, which is, I mean, fine. I did say during the tutorial series that I should probably use normal mode more than legacy mode for the speed slider. And you can change the amount, of course, right here. But even then, I feel like that's not the same motion that this one was giving us. Like, it's far more responsive, I think. All right, and then likewise, the Julian auto shake here also has the interesting thing about the Julian auto shake one, audio shake, not auto shake, audio shake, is that it comes with zoom, rotate, move, and opacity. So these are post-process effects, so you don't need to link any parameters. It'll just take effect. So if I have it on zoom, you see that it has some set effect to kick again. It has the same motion here. You can also set it to rotate, set it to move, set it to opacity. Or you can invert it, I guess. Which that's nice, you can invert it. But then audio gate, I'm not too sure what that does. I think that's for if you have it set like the master or something like that and wanted to remove some of the other stuff as well. And then depending on where the frequency range is, yeah. You can change the attack as well, which is probably the tension, and the release, which is probably the decay. Change the origin and stuff as well. So this one is a nice one as well. But what's cool about the Fruity Peak controller is, aside from the fact that you can use it to specific mixer tracks, is it also has an LFO option as well. So if you just want a nice smooth animation or like a constant animation, you can have that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to load in another image here. We're using the HUD image effect, of course. And I'm going to use the good old effect that, or a good old image that I've used before, this guy right here. And you know what? I'm going to go load in a video controller as well, just so I can show you a little bit more with what you can do with this. If you remember from, or if you guys watched my tutorial series, my ZGameEditor Visualizer tutorial series, I talked about the video controller and how you can use it to animate this 2-frame animation here to go to the song. And what we're going to do is I'm going to open the mixer track again, and we're going to actually load another Fruity Peak controller on the bass loop. There it is. And have it set to the bass loop of this song, this very nice ghost hack bass loop that I have here. Yeah, this nice bass loop that I had for the song. That's kind of what built the song, so I wanted to make a song around that. And yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and take that, and we're going to go ahead and link the scale to that one. Bass loop. We're gonna make sure, because we have 2 peak controllers now. This one says kick 1. This one says bass loop. Let's link that to the peak of that one. Go back to the bass loop, which is like here somewhere. Okay, too much again. This is the wrong one. There it is. Go ahead and type in value 50. So that's a very small amount. Okay, so we have this one bouncing around too. But what we're going to do more so than this is we're actually going to, like I was saying, animate the animation. We're going to animate the animation of this GIF. And how we're going to do that is we're going to change the shape of this here, the LFO, to a square wave, and we're going to link the position slider to the LFO by looking for bass loop, P controller LFO. Set the volume to anything that's up enough. And there you go. I'm actually going to set this to some numbers that I preferred earlier. 25% on the bass, and then this one's going to be a nice 50% here. Alright, there you go. You have it move into the music. It's a bit slow though, so what we're going to do is we can change the speed knob here. And I can go like this. I can move it, manually. Or if I right click it, you can see actually that it has the same type of ratio that a delay effect would have if you're trying to change the delay, the delay rate of a delay effect. And we're actually going to set this to 8, even though it's already very close to 4. We're going to set this to 8, which should be the quarter note of the song. It's not really a 1-to-1 correlation on the numbers, not too sure why, but 8 should be the quarter note of the song. And there you go. Let me turn this down some so you can see that. Of course, we can speed it up as well. If we type in value, set that to 4. Don't get the hole in there. Yeah, type in value. And of course, these parameters as well can be automated. So if you wanted to speed up your dancing animation or if anything that you're trying to speed up, you can right click this, create automation clip, and then just set that how you want it to as well. But I also have if we pull up the peak controller of the kick here, I still have this one's LFO and LFO parameters that I can use, and I'm going to use them because since this is a different controller that I can use, I'm actually going to right-click the rotation of the little dancing guy, link to controller, and we're going to link that to the kick 1 LFO, and we're going to go ahead and give that a little motion. Whoops. And there we go. We've got a little swaying back and forth motion. Just want that to be the other way. Never mind. There we go. And the reason why I wanted to show that off is because I was looking at the ImageLine forum under the ZGameEditor Visualizer thread, and there was someone who had that question, this exact question, about how to create 2 motions at once. They wanted an audio shake motion, and they wanted a little subtle rotation motion as well. And of course, having just made my tutorial series, I recommended some of the methods that you can use within ZGameEditor Visualizer. But with this, I feel like this is just much more simple, because instead of bogging up your effects chain on your ZGameEditor Visualizer, which you can have up to 100, and I've even noticed in that ZGameEditor Visualizer thread, some people using almost all 100 to make various presets. So if you wanted to have extra effects without bogging down your workspace and your ZGE Vis project, you can just load up pretty much anything that says controller and link it to, or I guess load it onto your mixer track and link it like that. What's interesting about this is one other thing that I want to demonstrate is with the type of animation, because I have this animation that I used in the tutorial series, which is just, a 2-frame animation. But if you look at the 3D peak controller here, let me switch back to the base loop one, the one that's controlling the animation. You see this phase knob. Whenever you press play, wherever the phase knob is, it'll always start back on that phase of the LFO, which is important for, let's say you wanted to animate something like this. There, and you see right now it's not the correct animation because I have it set to square. We're actually set this to saw wave because this animation already loops on its own. Set the base back to 0. Set the volume to max. And you see it's doing the animation. The problem with this animation, if I were to press play right now, it doesn't start where you would want it to start. And I can actually show you this. If I stop the volume here, you see that it actually starts right here. Like that's the start of the animation, is in this weird crouch position, which isn't the most savory starting point for this type of animation. If you ask me where you would want this animation to start, would probably be on the pump, right? Like if you're trying to time sync a dance, you would want it to be on the pump of the thing, right? Well, if you change the phase here, you can't really see it as you're paused, of course. So what you need to do is just press play and just mess with the phase. Also set the back to max. Mess with the phase until we can get it to where we want it to be. Which I think that's it right there. Let's skip ahead. There you go. So that's a much easier way to create that animation, I think, than using... I think in the tutorial series video, I used ZGE XY controller to do this, which that is a viable way as well. But like I said, if you don't want to have, I have still only 3 effects on my ZGE project. If you don't want to just bog down all of your effects here, you have all of these other options as well. So yeah, I just thought this was an interesting little video that I wanted to make after I saw that comment on my video. I'm pretty sure I've probably clicked on 3D peak controller before, maybe some of the other controller effects, which I might cover in the future. Because after seeing this, I was messing with some of the other controllers and I saw a 3D keyboard controller and I was messing with that a bit. So I might make short videos regarding those controller effects as well. But yeah, it's like I probably clicked on it before and never knew what it did, but this is quite useful, especially after having gone through everything I've gone through in learning ZGameEditor Visualizer. So thank you so much for pointing this out to me, and thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, I guess subscribe for probably more tutorial videos. I wasn't sure if I was going to do that, but I mean, here's so far 1 extra in my series that I've had, so who knows. Again, of course, subscribe for my music, leave a like if you like this video, otherwise I guess dislike it if you already knew about this, because surely enough I'm last of the party on this. Yeah, and thank you all so much for watching. My name is óÓòò, aka Dame Music. and I will see you all next time. Oh, also, I don't know if anyone was wondering, but this here in the back is indeed in FL Studio. You can actually change your background if you go to, what is it, options? No, if you go to view, background, you have options to change backgrounds. What this is actually an HTML document background that is telling it to play the specific video. So if you ever wanted a custom background, that's how you do it. You go to view background, you can set an image, you can change your color, or you can set a special thing using HTML to make a specific background. The only problem with this is I can't middle click how I would used to whenever I opened my plugin picker. That's not that one. My plugin picker. My fast way of opening my plugin picker would be to middle click back here, and now I can't do that anymore. So much for that, but that's fine. There's, as you see, another way to do that right up here. So yeah, in case anyone was curious about that.